Alright, today we're having a look at the construction site Into the Abyss by itsdawsdaws. Alright, so here we are on construction site Into the Abyss by itsdawsdaws. Had a little bit of a, oh no! Our evil boss. What is it with bosses today? Our evil boss, has dumped Billy into the Abyss or something. We gotta get Billy out, but the evil boss also called me Sackboy, and you know, I feel a little bit salty about that, but I do like the look. It's got a very LBP 1 feel to it, and I kind of appreciate that. But now, okay, we want to just get this going back, and then, do I gotta ride it over, or do I even need to? Like, is there a switch? I'm stuck. I hate it. I mean, I don't hate the level, I hate being stuck. I'm not a big fan of that. Well, fudge. What am I... Maybe... Okay, if I swing it like this... What? Why you gotta physics me like this, yo? Why? Oh, God. Oh, God. This is quite the obstacle to start your level out on. I'm gonna just go out and say that. Look, I enjoy a bit of an unusual way of going about levels, absolutely, but I kind of feel like if you're gonna have a bit early on, then you kind of want to build up to that bit. Love, by the way, the usage of magic mouths to actually indicate a camera change. Like, that's very old school technique. I do appreciate that. Alright, that says danger, and danger's probably bad, but do we wanna? I kind of feel like we wanna. Wait, what? Now it says R1. Why does this say R1? What? What did I do? Was that good? Maybe. Let's just assume. And we'll make a butt out of you and umption. That's how that goes. Oh, fudge! Okay, we just made it. Go us. I feel very accomplished. As a Saxon construction worker, I never worked construction. I worked demolition. They're similar but not the same. I like this though. The start was rocky. I'm not gonna lie, the start was pretty rocky. Didn't really appreciate it, but I kind of like. Oh, fudge! That is our alarm. We're gonna have to go back to the hub and talk about this. Oh my God, it's so loud. Pizza quiet from that mean boss. But yes, we're gonna go back to the hub. We're gonna talk about it there. See yas. And we're back, and the construction site Into the Abyss by itsdawsdaws, and this is, I'm really happy to say, a solid green circle level. There are definitely a few issues with the level, but they are really minor, especially in the face of what Dawes has been able to put together with this level, which is something that it's a very clear homage to the LBP 1 style in kind of level design and presentation, while still managing to incorporate a fair amount of later gameplay and logic. And the way that it's pulled off is just so very well done. He's done a great job here. I know I mentioned way back in July when we looked at Silhouette by ONG Man, and I mentioned that I felt that the level had built itself as an LBP 1 style level, but with a couple of flourishes from LBP 2, and I had said in that review that I had felt that it was kind of disappointing, and the reason why was, one, it was that billing of that this was supposed to be an LBP 1 experience, and it really didn't feel that way. It felt like an experience that could have been had in any game, and so adding the LBP 2 bounce pad game elements didn't really seem to do much for the level. And I had really the opposite experience here in the construction site, because the construction site doesn't set itself up, you know, from the jump as an LBP 1 level. It's something that you really get from it while you're playing, and it kind of sinks in. Oh, these shaping choices and the way that they've, you know, set up the characters. There's a bit where you've got to pull this character that you've saved, and you've got to pull them along and release some obstacles as you're going through, and then pull the character further through. And that was like a hallmark of LBP1 era levels, where, because, you know, we didn't have sackbots or anything like that, so, you know, putting in this actual like cardboard or soft material character that you could drag along, and have the homemade signs that go with it, and that screams LBP1 so well. And I loved that aspect of it so much. I like that there's a story here, but the story is largely unobtrusive to the level. Like, you've got cutscenes, but they're really quite short, and they let you just jump in the level relatively quickly. None of them go on for more than a couple of seconds, which I did appreciate. One thing I do have to say about those cutscenes, and I know that some of this is my situation itself, and it's, you know, no shade is being thrown on itsdawsdaws here. I know that it's really easy to assume that your audience and your players are going to be guys, but we're not all guys, so to have the level set up saying Sackboy, Sackboy, Sackboy constantly was kind of like, it was a little bit of a thing. It's not a thing enough that I'm going to be like, oh, this level's trash, because it's not, but it definitely did start to get under my skin just a little bit as we went on. But even still, like, going to that story, there's definitely humor in the story, the way that the cutscenes are set up. I really appreciated all of it. I like the goofy, like, alien crab enemy boss thing that shows up every now and then and threatens to eat your friend. It's like, are you going to be better with beetle salad or spider soup? And I just, like, it's so great. And I love that quote-unquote boss, because there's no real boss fight in the level, is replicated, that design is replicated in the enemies that you fight throughout the level. So there's that kind of consistency, that coherency of presentation that's really cool. And I love seeing independent enemies in levels. It's not something like that we see an awful lot, because a lot of times that those can be thermo eaters, but I imagine that these are probably pretty gentle on the thermometer, so that part was cool. I liked the gameplay for the most part. Again, it's very much in that LBP1 era. A couple of points that really stood out where we've got the elevator that's going up and you're running back and forth, weaving through the deadly gas that we saw in the video. We see something kind of similar to that later on, where you're hanging from a hook and you're getting pulled up, and you've got to avoid that little crabulon that pops out. It's got deadly gas around its eyes, but also flying crabulons that are electrified. And both of those are very much like kind of hallmark gameplay bits of LBP1 era, and that's just like, it's cool. It's really, really fun to see it handled so well, and to keep like the flow and the pace of it and the presentation of it really well done. Something I super liked about the presentation is you've got a lot of incidental movement in the level. I bring that up a lot of times. You got spiders and rats, and you got birds, and none of it is like big and brash and in your face and kind of distracting. It's all just there as part of the environment. You've also got like little bits of machinery and falling debris, and all of this stuff is adding up to give it a feel of a living place, and that is really, really cool. Now, I did say that there were a couple of downsides. The one biggest downside that I found was that really early obstacle that we interacted with, where you've got to like use physics to swing those platforms back and forth so that you can make the jump from the left side platform over to the right side platform, and then if you want bonus points, you can make another jump from the right side platform over to like a special switch that you can use to get bonus points. And it's like, it's really, really tough, and there's no scaffolding for that. And if it was only to get some kind of bonus, that you could kind of play with that mechanic early on and then use the mechanic later to progress the level, like in another obstacle later in the level, that would have made a lot more sense to me. But to have it where, like, this is a progress point, you have to do this thing in order to actually get the level proper moving. To have something like that, it just seemed really odd and unusual to me, because it's not really something that's, I mean, there's some skill to it, definitely, but a lot of it is just like kind of working your momentum in a really weird way that's not used very much in the level as you progress on. It's like it's just there in that one section. Now you run into something a little bit similar later on, where you're breaking out of a cage, and this is something I kind of wanted to mention. That bit's really cool when it works, but when I played through the second time for my B-roll footage and the cage like didn't engage, the door just never shut, so I just sat there, and then the whole thing broke. Like, not the level broke, but like that obstacle broke, which was fine, because I could have just hit the button and done it anyways, but I was very confused, and I don't know what went wrong with that section. I don't know if it's replicable, if it's something that's going to show up in your plays. It's not anything that like damaged the level, because like I said, you know, all the needed parts to progress from that point are still there on the screen, but I kind of was just like, what did I do? Like, how did I break this? It was so weird. There was another level break, like an actual, you could drop out of the level. There's a bit where there's like a big metal section. It's got like danger zone labeled on it. You've got to jump across, and you're going to hit a button, and then you're going to have to go back across again, and then you're going to get in that section that was blocked off. And somehow I had managed, and I'm not really sure how, but I had managed to like drop out of level at that point. How did it happen? I don't know. Was it a really big deal? Not really super big deal. I think like you'd kind of have to try to get it to happen again, and even if you did it by accident, you probably wouldn't do it a second time, but it was something that came up. One thing to kind of finish off on a positive point, secrets. This level's got secrets. I didn't find all 7 of them, and that is perfectly okay, but it's another little thing that was really, really common in LBP 1 and LBP 2 levels. You still see it a little bit in LBP 3 levels, but I feel like that era has kind of passed us by a little bit, because it used to be really all over the place. People putting in secret prize bubbles, and they would count them up at the end, and I liked it. It's just like a really cool minor detail, but it works really well. There is so much to recommend from this level, and I'm really, really looking forward to playing some more of itsdawsdaws levels, maybe on stream, because he's got a couple of other levels that unlocked with keys. How often do you see keys in LBP 3 levels anymore? I don't think I hardly ever see them at all, but they, again, just that little bit of LBP 1 detail in there. I could talk about this like all day, and really I just honestly could. I might look at this level just on stream, even though we reviewed it here, just so I could pick it apart a little bit more. But we've already gone on for almost 13 minutes, and I've eaten up your time. I'm so sorry. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Please play this level. It's a great one. I really enjoyed myself, and that's really all I've got to say. So, from me, Yusuko, here in Tokyo, to all of you out there, wherever you may happen to be, thank you, arigato, sayonara, see you, and ciao.